All right, big question here on Morning Kick Around. It is Friday, June 20th, the morning after Leo Messi won a Club World Cup match with his magical left boot. Obviously, that makes Johnny Infantino happy. He made up a rule to get Inter Miami into this. The supporters' shield, never more important than in 2024, got Inter Miami in, and Messi, star of the show, gets a late winner. So, big question of the day, what does Leo Messi's game-winning Club World Cup goal mean for Major League Soccer?
I think it means a lot. I do. I think this is a big thing for MLS. I think Seattle has acquitted themselves relatively well through two matches, but they haven't won. We'll see what LAFC does today against Esperance, but that's not the measuring stick for MLS. A team from Tunisia is not going to win MLS a lot of credit. An MLS team, and look, Porto's not in a top 5 league. They're not a European power in 2025. They're a former European champion under Jose Mourinho. Let's not forget that.
One of the best, you'd almost say one of the top 5 feeder teams in the whole world, though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, in terms of the talent that goes through Portugal and Porto, absolutely there is that. They're not pushovers, and they're certainly, in the estimation of every single person who pays attention to MLS or to soccer, rather, to world soccer, Porto is held in higher esteem than any MLS team. Doesn't matter if you got Lionel Messi or Sergio Busquets or Jordi Alba. They're going to be higher on the list. Porto, of course, they're better. And Miami beat them. Now, there's some context here, Rob, if you really want to sort of pull it down a bit. Porto's in their preseason or they're in their postseason and they're all tired. And this game was played in a different environment. And there weren't that many people in the building and it didn't feel important. And I don't know. Whatever. You want to throw out all the excuses possible for Porto, you can do it. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. It's actually drives home that argument that sometimes we make about Major League Soccer in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, that the season schedule really hurts MLS in that competition. Obviously, Vancouver went all the way to the final. Columbus went all the way to the final. But we know how much harder it is for an MLS team in the early stages of their season to ramp up to the level of the Liga MX teams that they're facing, who are generally speaking spending more money on players than MLS clubs. So that's like a disadvantage on top of a disadvantage. Here in this case, Major League Soccer is into their season. Porto's coming out of a long season or getting ready for a new one. The calendar is not in their favor. You could say, well, that's a part of the reason that Porto lost this game. Sure, you could. But nobody says, well, MLS, that's a totally excuse in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Just give them a pass. Everybody says MLS is not as good as Liga MX until they can beat them. So what does this mean? Does it mean MLS is on the same level as the Portuguese league? No, that's not what it means. We're not drawing any grand conclusions. We're just saying that MLS is good enough that on their day against a quality European side that regularly competes in the Champions League and regularly competes for titles in their reasonably good European league, they can do this. Like this is something possible, I guess. And it actually is a proof of concept for Johnny Infantino, as much as I hate to say that, Rob.
Yeah, I was gonna note that as well. Angus's comment, MLS has outplayed his expectations, so that's good for Major League Soccer. I fear that this will be a knowing that Major League Soccer is going to reference this win repeatedly about, we beat a top European team and whatnot. But yeah, I think this goal, this win from Miami and Messi is the biggest win for Johnny Infantino. I think it really does for him because Club World Cup and FIFA are going to put that goal in all their materials. This was why the Supporters Shield became the reason that, became an entry point to this competition, was to get Messi attached to this competition. And then a moment like a free kick where all cameras are on him and it's a winner. It couldn't have gone any better.
Segovia's goal was very good too.
Oh,
let's not take that away from Inter Miami. It's not like they won just on Messi's left foot and didn't do anything else in the game. They created that goal that Segovia scored to give them a chance to win the game off of Messi's free kick. I would say that's interesting from Mike. Messi can't even sell at a stadium anymore. Maybe there's a little fatigue. Again, timing and stadium choices aren't the best here. I'm going to actually put up Daniel and his comment. From the games I've seen, the European teams have been poor. Now, Real Madrid was played to a draw. Who did they draw with? Somebody's going to remind.
Wydad?
Wydad, Wydad, the Casablanca team. They drew with the Casablanca team. Last night, Botafogo beat PSG. By the way, a PSG team rocked Atletico Madrid 4-0 in their opener. What I think we're seeing is that there are some European teams that are taking this relatively seriously. There are some that are taking it more like a preseason tour, and you're going to see a mixed bag. And you can't draw any grand conclusions, and you probably shouldn't, right? But what you can say is if the European teams don't bring their best, or they're in a moment of transition. Remember that Real Madrid has a brand new manager in Xabi Alonso, right? This is a new thing for them. Inter Milan, who has not been great in this tournament in their performance, they drew against Monterrey. They have a new manager because Simeone Inzaghi is coaching a different team in this tournament. It's from Saudi Arabia. Like this thing is so weird, but it's like weird in a fun way. And as I said, I hate giving Gianni Infantino credit for anything, but I'm intrigued by this. And Messi's Inter Miami's win with Lionel Messi doing that thing that he does, the magic he creates, is absolutely a massive, massive, massive bit of advertising for this.
Andy Arriaga fact checking us. It was Halal who drew with Real Madrid midweek. But yeah, it comes the calendar stuff. We talk about it, MLS teams and CONCACAF Champions Cup. Could say similar for the European teams. Plus, I've seen more complaints about the weather conditions being a factor for the European teams. Obviously, they're tired after their full slate of games throughout their league season. But then not too many of them are used to playing in 95-degree California midday heat as well. I saw a quote, I think it was from the Madrid Atleti player saying that his toenails were like melting off or something like that.
Is that possible? That's a thing? No way. I guess inside a boot, I guess, maybe on some, I suppose. I guess it's possible. I mean, they put grass down. I mean, it's not like they're playing on artificial surfaces, which is another thing.
Frying pan.
This is a thing, right? The humidity. Shout out to Mike. I went running in the humidity yesterday. God damn, it was rough. Mike, I feel you. Mike and I are running buddies on the apps that are out there because he's also a bestie over the Best Soccer Show. And I know how much Mike runs, way more than I do. That man puts in miles. And it's been hard on the East Coast. You can't really get out there and do a lot when you feel like you're running through soup, right? So this is a thing. The delays and the weather and all that stuff, that's, you can't do anything about that. But it absolutely is maybe a harbinger of things to come next year with the World Cup. I mean, Pamit is asking about why the games are scheduled during the middle of the day. That's European audiences, buddy. Like that's Johnny is not just selling this to Americans. He wants Americans to buy the tickets, or he wants people living in America to buy the tickets to fill up the stadiums.
Yeah, Chelsea at 3:00 in the afternoon. What time is it in England?
Yeah, I mean, that game was played indoors, thankfully, in Atlanta, which is also going to be the case for I think there's a game today that's taking place in Atlanta, or maybe it was the Inter Miami game. That game was in Atlanta. My mistake. That was that game with that victory. And maybe if that game happens, Porto Inter Miami happens outside, maybe it's a different result. Maybe it's a different game. I don't know. Maybe that benefits Miami. I don't know necessarily how it could. They have a lot of old guys, but yeah, it's not the best environment to play football, to play soccer, Rob, and yet it still has enough attraction for me that I'm fascinated by what's to come. And we picked a game from this for our Fab Four earlier when I said that I was interested in River Plate and Monterrey. Today you've got Flamengo Chelsea, which should be fascinating. That's at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, where it's going to be warm. That game kicks off at 2 p.m. Eastern time in Philadelphia, that's where Mike has been trying to run in the humidity. So let's see.
Speaking of the Fab Four, we need to get our fourth pick in from the chat. One of the main suggestions I saw from Angus, Bayern Beer versus the Boca Burgers. Is that our Fab Four game of the day? It's certainly a unique. This is okay. So this sort of a matchup is why kind of this competition exists and can create some intrigue. Obviously, if there's more additions, there's some refinements to be made. But having the German champions versus one of the all-time greats from South America meet up in a competitive game, that's the sort of thing that drives the intrigue.
That's going to be a party for Boca fans. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Bayern Munich is going to feel like an away team. They're going to feel like it's not going to be the Bombonera. It's not that level, obviously, but there are going to be a lot of Boca fans in Miami for that game. I've seen video. Simon Evans posted video of the Boca fans taking over South Beach, like just wall to wall Boca fans on South Beach. This is the thing that is most fun. There is some fun stuff. Inter Miami beating Porto is fun. Even Seattle, putting in a fight against Atletico Madrid was fun. There's some other things that have happened, but it's the South American teams in particular
They're bringing
that
it.
have brought the heat for this Club World Cup. And that's why no matter what the background is, no matter where the inception point was, or no matter why FIFA is doing it to box out UEFA, to make more money, to squeeze American soccer fans, et cetera, the concept works because we don't get to see Bayern Munich play Boca Juniors with anything on the line. And maybe Bayern doesn't care about this competition the same way they care about the Champions League or the Bundesliga, but they don't want to get embarrassed. They absolutely do not want to get embarrassed by Boca Juniors. Meanwhile, Boca Juniors, this is, maybe a Copa de Libertadores final is bigger, but this is their Super Bowl. They get to face off against a European giant and prove that South American football is good. And Argentine players, have you ever not backed them in a fight, Rob? Come on.
Yeah, they'll dig in, and for context, like there's more than just not being embarrassed for Bayern. I mean, there's like what $1 or $2 million per victory is guaranteed in this. So I mean, everyone's making a big deal about TST being $1 million tournament. This is literally $1 million per every single game won. So the stakes are high. Obviously, that's one of the points that makes this contentious, is just like stuffed money at it to make it relevant. But yeah, you were talking about Boca. That's a bucket list, going to a Boca game. Like if I could go with like a local and know the right places to go and how to do it in a responsible manner, absolute bucket list. Would absolutely love. If you've seen any sort of highlights about a Boca game, like after a victory, I don't even know if it means a victory, but that stadium in full voice is just watching it on my phone just gives me goosebumps. Yes. I can't imagine being there.
La Bombonera is on my bucket list. It might be the number one. I mean, I want to go to the Parc des Princes. I want to go to Anfield. I haven't been there. I'm a Fulham fan. I'd love to go to Craven Cottage. I know the atmosphere is not, the same kind of place. I still want to go. There are a number of places in Europe. But if you ask me if I had to pick one, it's probably La Bombonera, but Estadio Monumental, which is the home of River Plate, might be number two. Like it might be right there. Those two teams have such a reputation for the passion of their fans, for the kind of environment that they present. Yeah, and this, again, the United States, Hard Rock Stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the Rose Bowl, Lincoln Financial Field is not the same, but there is a little bit of taste of that, which is great.
Great episode of the show today. Great Friday. It was great to be joined by Sean Mann from Detroit City. Talk about the various intermixings of politics and the game we love. And then we got to talk about the men's national team getting a win. So a great Friday, getting you started off on the right foot. One more thing from the chat. Andy, a regular viewer, going to Colombia for the weekend. He's going to let us know if they are engaged down there. That would be some interesting reporting too. We didn't get the membership goal, so I don't know if we're going to get any bonus coverage today or bonus videos today, but we will take any suggestions for bonus content for stuff, because we can kind of open. We're a little bit freer with copyright and stuff like that for our private videos. So if you have some ideas of stuff we don't do on a regular thing, go ahead.
I also I saw somebody earlier in the chat was saying that we should get some soccer YouTubers on. I think that was Andy who's going to Colombia. Let us know who we should have, I guess. I mean, I'm not really immersed in the soccer YouTube world. We've reached out, I think, to a couple of people, but if there's people that you would like to see do a crossover with Morning Kick Around, definitely let us know. We're happy to do that. I also think at the end of this show on a Friday, we want to hand out our MK Ultra of the week, which we have done in the past. We've inaugurated that last week, I think. This week, we're going to give it to Nate. Nate is our MK Ultra of the week, always in the chat, always driving conversation. He is a member, which you got to be a member to be an MK Ultra of the week, because you got to be an MK Ultra to be an MK Ultra of the week. So shout out to Nate, who's always here, always bringing it on the live shows.
Yeah, thank you, Nate, and thank you to all the members. Just $3.99 gets you all those perks. Yeah, Nate the Great. Put that on the screen, and with that $3.99 membership, you get priority commenting, you get early access to videos, you get exclusive access to bonus content as well, and then what really could be kind of like the ace in the hole for becoming a member, the access to the Discord chat where there's some great conversations going from local MLS promotion relegation conversations all the way to the national team and beyond. So great soccer conversations going on the Morning Kick Around Discord channel. If there's anything else, is there any other housekeeping? Coffee.com/morning kick around. There you can name your own donation. You can find us as a podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Email, social media. We talk about it all the time. We don't need to go through that again, but happy Friday, everybody. We will be back on Monday. And until then, everybody, enjoy your soccer.